Every day, the sun, it provides warmth, it provides light to the world that we live in. But despite the sun's hard work, the world that we live in is actually very dark and it's actually very cold. And I really believe that this frigidity and this darkness is a result of men's hearts. Many people today, they just live for themselves. They have a lust for money. They have a lust for control. They want to just step on everybody and anybody to get where they believe they need to be. And a lot of people today are very, very ungrateful. Ingratitude, ungratefulness, unthankfulness, whatever you want to call it, is one of the hallmarks of our advanced modern society today. So what we're going to do is we are going to cut across the grain of advanced modern society by doing something very, very simple, and that is saying thank you. Tonight, we're going to say thank you to a band that was formed in the Netherlands in 1996. That band is Within Temptation. And the way that we're going to say thank you is we've got Within Temptation fans from all over the world that are going to join Raven's Heart tonight to share their stories of how the band Within Temptation, by freely giving of themselves through music, have provided hope in a world of darkness. Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Raven's Heart live stream podcast. I'd like to welcome everybody that is viewing on Twitch, that's viewing on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. And I'm sure that we have many viewers from around the world that have never been a part of this live stream. This in the United States tonight is what I call must-see live streaming on Thursday night. So, hey, because this is a live stream, you have the ability to weigh in with your comments and questions as well. And you're not just getting me tonight, your favorite Raven's Heart podcast host. We also have with us some people that have been behind the scenes with what's going on here. We have with us Michelle. She is up at the top. She is going to be weighing in tonight and assisting with co-hosting this. Michelle, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Very good. She is behind the scenes working very hard on Rockfest 2021. That's going to be happening in Charleston, South Carolina on the 21st of, the 15th of May. Man, I'm really jumping ahead there. We also have Joey Pike, who is the founding member and the drummer of a symphonic metal band here in the United States, Amorous. Joey is my brother from another mother. We were twins separated at birth. We both played trombone in high school together, didn't we, Joey?
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did. And we've been to some shows together, too. We went to go see, we just realized that we went to go see Delane in their next to last show in Florida in the United States. Yeah, I am so glad we made that. We also have Alicia Trowbridge Boyd with us. She is a vocalist and she is the lead singer for the band Amorous. She is a woman of much insight. She is also a vocal instructor and she's worked with performers such as Sarah Brightman. So we've got three great co-hosts with me tonight. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn over the microphone to our first guest who's got a Within Temptation story. Awesome story, and she is from Finland. Her name is Jana, and she is awake now at 2 o'clock in the morning in Finland to share her story. And the story that she sent is absolutely amazing. I am just going to turn my microphone off and let Jana share her story, how the music of this awesome band provided light for her in a world of darkness. Jana, it's yours.
Thank you. So, hi, everyone. I'm, Jonna, but you can also spell it as Jana, however you spell it. I respond to almost every variation of it. And yeah, I'm a huge Within Temptation fan, as you can probably tell, from Finland. Hey, that's my friend. Yay, glad to see you here. So, before I start, I'd like to give a fair trigger warning to anyone watching or just listening to this podcast. I would necessarily describe anything too graphic or anything into that graphic detail, but I understand that even implications of some things can be triggering to some people, and I'll be referring rather a lot to some mental health issues and such. So if you feel the need to, then please listen with caution. Well, to start with my story with a lighter note, so to speak, I actually knew them Within Temptation before I even became so-called real fan. I remember rather vividly a beautiful summer day when I was a young girl, maybe between the ages like 8 to 10. I was in the car together with my mother, driving somewhere, and she played the Silent Forest album during that trip. And I admit I was already quite drawn in back then, even though I couldn't understand a thing nor a word. I remember hearing both memories and somewhere and being absolutely awestruck. They were just that magical somehow, you know. Like, it somehow just blew my little mind, even though I really didn't understand a thing. I also remember all those times when I think it was MTV was still a thing, and I saw Within Temptation's music videos on, well, TV, such as Angels, Ice Queen, Frozen, etc. And even though metal still wasn't exactly part of my music taste yet, I remember being very intrigued by them. So it was basically a perfect match waiting to happen, so to speak. And little did I know what kind of impact they would have on my life not that many years later. So let's go back some years. Ever since I was a small child, life hasn't been exactly fair to me, to put it nicely. Got some rough patches at home and with other family members that I still wish I could forget about, and which I don't wish to elaborate further at the moment because my situation with my family is pretty good right now, has been for quite a while, and I haven't exactly spoken about these things with them yet, so like surely you get the idea. Then I was bullied from about either kindergarten or preschool age, which is like any age younger than 7. And like it was like from that time all the way till the end of primary school, which here is ages 7 to 16 and grades 1 to 9. I don't think it was ever really physical from what I remember, but it was definitely the emotional type at the least. There were some a little more physical things too, though, like stealing belongings such as pens, throwing pieces of eraser, or tiny paper balls at your back and head, prank calls. I think there were also times when our shoes and other belongings could mysteriously be found from different places than where we left them. And by we, I mean my friends and I, to which I will get back to in a little bit. And personally, for me, maybe the best one was that during 7th grade, we had one other girl in our class with same first name as I have. So the others came up with a very creative nickname for me. As they started calling me Mäkkäri, or Maxu for short, I guess. The problem with that is that Mäkkäri is what we call McDonald's here, and surely you can imagine what that does to a young teenage girl who already has a lot of issues with her body to begin with. It wasn't nice, to say the least. But anyway, that makes up at least about a decade of my life. And to be honest, I barely remember anything from the first 15 years of my life. It's like this big, long, dark tunnel with holes here and there where you can have a peek and you can see a memory from here and there, but you won't see it in a great detail. So that also sucks because I believe it would be, these things would be probably a lot easier to deal with if I could remember more things, but yeah. But even though most things that I do remember are bad, there is still a little bit of goodness too. And Within Temptation is one of these good things. So now we make a time skip forward. Now it's the year 2011. I am 13 now, and I'm entering the 7th grade, also known as the first year of junior high. I had quite a style change that included even my music taste. I started liking metal and rock music more, and around that time, I also found Within Temptation again. I remember how excited I was when I recognized them, how big smile I had at the memories of my earlier childhood. And from there, it pretty much just started. I started listening to them more and more until I was more or less obsessed. Mom gave me their earlier albums that she had collected, which were Mother Earth, like from Mother Earth to The Unforgiven, and the Hydra was my first, like completely my own, that the album that I owned. and I've been continuing the collection since. And I have to admit, it surprises even me how convenient the timing of me finding their music was. And spoiler alert, this is where it starts to get dark and sad. So, as you might have guessed, junior high was the time when everything started to go downhill. I had a bigger group of friends that I had been friends with since the first grade. And we were separated into different classes. We had 2 pairs in 2 different classes and a group of 3 in one class. And I still think that was a huge mistake from whoever decided that, because no matter where we went, there was at least one bully in every class, aka pretty much every other kid besides us, and we basically were much easier targets now. And dare I say, that was also the time when the bullying got worse. Like, this was the time of those prank calls, and I think one of my friends was even like threatened at one point. And I remember this one time when I was like in one of those pairs with one of my friends, and someone had taken like a picture of us in secret and posted it on Facebook, and we didn't know about it until we found it there. So yeah, it was very interesting time. I also came to know this, maybe like for the first time in my life, just how unfair and cruel life can be. Because during this time, I started making friends all over the world through Facebook, as well as some more in real life. But you could say that came with a price. I actually have this joke that I attract people who have more or less of mental health problems, but it's not really that funny when you think about it. I can't even begin to count the times I try to help people with their troubles, and there are times where things went as serious as, well, talking someone out of suicide. So that was a thing, and it has gotten to a point where I can say I'm kind of used to it, I guess. Pretty horrible thing to say, right? Well, anyway, on with the story. So I don't remember the exact date or year when it started, but during junior high, my grandpa, whom I was very close to, got sick with lung cancer. It was a huge deal for me because he was one of the most important people in my life, and I was aware that I could lose him any day now. I didn't want to face that possibility, even though I reminded myself of it on almost daily basis. So thanks to everything that was going on during those 3 years of my life, you could say, I at some point just finally snapped, and then I turned to bad coping mechanisms that still follow me to this day. And unfortunately, these said coping mechanisms have left me with scars, both physical and mental. But during all of this, however, Within Temptation brought a little bit of light to it all. I remember listening to them almost 24/7 because I felt like they understood what I was going through and that they could make me feel at least a little better. And dare I say, their music has saved me from myself more times than I can count. Then we go a bit fast forward again. Nothing really changes. The bullying continues. Grandpa has been sick for at least a year now, most likely more. And I can't describe how much literal hell it was to try to understand all these negative feelings that I was going through. And now we're on the date 6th of February 2014. I came home from school and I was wondering why it's so quiet in here. I barely made it upstairs when Mom walked up to me, and I was immediately confused why she was crying. She didn't greet me or anything. She straight up told me that Grandpa, who was her father, that he's dead. I sort of blacked out in that moment. Like, I was still aware of what was happening, but at the same time, I wasn't there. I was in complete state of denial. And in some ways, I still kind of am, even though it's been years since his passing. And I really, really hope not many will know the pain of having your world starting to shatter right in front of you, because let me tell you, it's pure hell. But where there is darkness, there is also light. Yes. I came to notice this only a couple of weeks later when Mom was taking me to Kaapelitehdas in Helsinki. And you might be wondering why. Well, she was taking me to my very first concert ever, Within Temptation's Hydra Tour concert. You can't even imagine the pure joy I had while watching them perform live. In that short, fleeting moment of 2 hours, like, I still think 2 hours is too short for them to play. Like, give me a whole day, please. I was actually truly happy during those 2 hours for the first time, only God knows after how long. And ever since, Mom, who also, of course, is a fan, has been taking me to their concerts, and every time I experience this same feeling, which I admit has become like a drug to me, and I can't even imagine a single thing that I'd rather be addicted to. Yeah. So quite obviously, my best memories are those from their concerts,
Wow.
and they of course still keep comforting me through their music, even at this day and age. Like for example, "Entertain You" is me telling "F you" to those bullies. The The Purge is basically the story of my life, and Our Farewell is still my greatest comfort whenever I miss Grandpa. And so, even though my battles with everything are far from over, Within Temptation makes it a lot easier to deal with, and at times it feels like they are right there with me, supporting me and helping me get back up when I've fallen, you know? And
That is beautiful, Yana. That is just such a beautiful story. I want to ask you a couple questions. And first of all, I have to give props to your mom for very good parenting and introducing
Yes.
you to very good music. We're going to put that in the parenting handbook. And you saying that reminds me of how old I actually am, because that's what I did with my kids. They drove around listening to Within Temptation in Dad's car.
Glenn, you're
one of
only
the things-
about 32 years old, so.
Oh, about 32. That's right. Hey, we want to say hi to all those that are joining us. We got Melody. Hey, Melody Moros. Hey, Rockers. Hey, thanks for joining us on Raven's Heart tonight. Tonight, we are thanking Within Temptation for the music that they've provided. And, you know, this story is just so powerful because you have literally been through a living hell, Yana. I mean,
yeah, pretty much, I guess.
at such a young age. You know, I look back at my childhood and it was relatively pretty easy compared to what you've had to go through.
Oh, come on.
I mean, really. But you know, I want to hit on the bullying real quick, and I just want to say this to you: is that the reason why people bully others is because they're jealous. Okay.
Yeah. I've been getting that vibe as I grew up. Like, I was always proud to be me. I was proud to be different, and like I'm actually pretty glad they just. Just pretty glad that they showed me their true colors from the start, because then as we got to first grade, I got some lifelong friends, even though our group more or less separated after 9th grade. I still have three of them as my very good friends, and hold on a second. This year, in August, we will be celebrating our 16 years being together.
Wow.
So we've been friends for a very long time.
Wow. You know, Emily, Yana, there are so many special things about you, and that's why people bullied you. And I just wanted to encourage you to keep being yourself, keep staying true to yourself. And I love how that the music from Within Temptation has been used as a light to help you cope with all of these things that have gone on in your life. My story is similar. We'll talk about that later, because this is not about me. This is about everybody else tonight. And that's why I wanted to do this, because real art, real true art, has a healing power to it, whether it be music, whether it be painting, whether it be poetry. And you've experienced that. And I want to ask you one question, because we've got other people that are coming in now. I would like to ask you, what intrigued you most about Within Temptation, real quick, before we go to another Within Temptation fan from the UK?
Oh, that's a good question. I honestly don't know, because it's like, I guess it's their whole presence and the way they are as people, because they feel so realistic and down to earth type of people, and they still make some mind blowing music.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned before, I kind of draw to myself these people with mental health issues, but I think I also know other fellow weirdos when I see them. So I guess they make me feel like I am with my people, so to speak.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Joey over there in the corner, he's a real weirdo, and I hang out with him, and we've gone to concerts together.
Yeah, and I have many middle school students who will also back him up on that comment about being weird. And I actually wear it with a badge of pride, so I'm totally cool with that. I own it.
Yana, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your story.
No problem.
It takes a lot of courage to do what you did, and we are so impressed that you did this at 2:00 in the morning. So we're going to let you get some sleep, and I will be in touch with you offline. I'm going to send you some things that I've written about Within Temptation that might help you as well.
Oh.
Yes, and it will be free. So I will send it to you through email. Yes, I'm not doing this for the money. So y'all, thank you.
There's not a lot of things in life nowadays that are free, so this is a joy.
Yes. yeah, not many things that are free at all. Yana, thank you so much. Get some rest tonight. And what an awesome story with
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for
so
having me.
That was wonderful. Thank you for sharing that.
All right, we've got Michelle. We've got somebody else that's waiting to come in. Can you introduce them for us, please?
We sure do. It is my pleasure to introduce you to Emily Seabrook from the UK.
Oh.
Hey, all the way from the UK.
Hi.
What time is it in the UK?
I look a bit of a mess because I got back from work about 20 minutes ago. I was running home like, I want to get back Within Temptation.
Hey, we've got a comment here. We've got Melody, originally from Detroit, now living in Orlando, Florida. Hey.
Yeah, a little bit out there. Actually, Melody.
I got this mug in Orlando when I was 9.
Yay! I've actually met Melody a couple times. She knows a lot of the good metal venues around the Orlando area. So I go out there every once in a while.
I've only been to Universal and when I was Disney when I was younger.
Yeah. Yeah.
Emily.
So you guys here, it's lovely. These nice American people.
Emily, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Can you go ahead and we want to hear your Within Temptation story. You sent a written copy to me, and wow, just go ahead and share.
Okay, so from the beginning, all the way. Okay, so my story truly began with them in the lovely year of 2018. I mean, it sort of began with them in 2014. I came across the song Pale by accident I was watching like some animated, like, you know, back on the good days of YouTube, when like people would make music videos from anything, like they slap a music track on anything, any games, any films. I think it was like a Disney one or something. They put the song Pale on it. I was like, oh man, this song's really nice. I wonder who it's by. So I looked it up, downloaded it, listened to it every day for as much as I could. And back then I wasn't really into like the world of music much. I just sort of heard songs. If I liked a song, I'd download it and that'd be it. I would never like research albums or bands and stuff. I mean, I was a fan of a few bands when I was younger, like Iron Maiden, Metallica, you know, all the big ones. But then, so skip ahead a few years, I'd learned a few more Within Temptation songs. I knew 5 or 6 maximum, all across the albums. And when it got to 2018, kind of everything in my life just kind of started falling apart really badly. Like, to the point I was probably at my lowest I've ever been. I mean, for me, 2018 made 2020 look easy.
Wow.
So yeah, during the summer, I was trying to look for something new. So I was my mind sort of erased all my interests. Like, I'm the most creative person ever, and I suddenly didn't want to be creative anymore. I was in a very isolated place because I had recently moved to the coast to live with another parent, and so I was cut off from all my friends. Well, I didn't have many friends anyway, so my few friends I had were across the country. I had no money, couldn't get work down there, and and during that year as well, I finally got a diagnosis for a mental disability that I should have had when I was younger, and it would have helped a lot if my school teachers knew I had it, because I might have had help during school, so I had that on my mind as well. And I just happened to notice that Within Temptation were in London. I was like just looking up, thinking, oh, I used to like them. And I saw they were playing in Brixton in November. And I had literally the tiniest bit of money left for that month. And end of July, I bought a ticket, and I think it sold out the next day. There were like 3 tickets left. But then I had to sort of try and survive that summer. I was in such an awful place in my head. Like, I lost loads of weight. I wasn't sleeping properly. I was just like a zombie, like a ghost half the time. I just didn't want to see anybody. And then I started to recover gradually through September, because I remember having that little ticket in my drawer, even though I did not know what the band looked like. I didn't know their names. I still didn't know the album, didn't do much research on them. I was just thinking to myself, okay, this is something new, a new direction for me. I was just curious. So the curiosity was something that kept me sort of just wanting to keep going, see it through. And so when November rolled around, it was November 13th. I went up there bought myself some nice new metal threads because I didn't have much. Never been to a concert in my life. And I was very nervous as well, because being autistic, I don't like crowds. And I thought, oh God, am I going to freak out with the noise? And also I was on my own. I went entirely alone to this thing. It was a very run-down area of London. If you've been to Brixton, it's like it's a bit of a scary area to be on your own. Yeah. But I met all the metalheads there. No one I knew, but everyone was so nice. All the guys in the crowd, like, everyone was really generous, very caring, and like, obviously the stereotype is that all like metal guys are all like horrible and stuff like that. And when the show started, I was at the front, and I remember very clearly when the lights went out just before it started, literally like that 10 seconds of pitch darkness, I felt like this chill. I was like, I have no idea what's going to happen. I have no idea about this thing. It's like entering a new path in my life, like starting this shadowy void. And then the show started. They start with Raise Your Banner. And as soon as Mike hit those drums, they came in and started with the opening riff. I was like, oh my fucking God. I was completely blown away by it. It was probably like I could feel like my adrenaline just went straight up. I don't remember much of that night because I didn't take many pictures or videos, but I do remember some very clear points. I remember most of the songs I heard for the first time. I'd never heard All I Need. I'd never heard Mother Earth. I'd never heard Heart of Everything or In the Middle of the Night. None of those. I only knew 2 songs from that set, and that was Shot in the Dark and Forgiven. And when the Shot in the Dark came on, I was like, I know this one. And you can see there's a video of me. Someone filmed the audience. All you can see is my hair fluffing around. And Sharon's headbanging at the same time, like, this is amazing. I know this one. Because she was coming along the front of the stage. And I was like, I actually know this one. I remember Forgiven being, I'm annoyed I can't remember much of Forgiven. I think I was just too immersed and emotional in it. That's why I can't remember it. So the show finished. I remember the end of the show, Sharon was walking along the front, And she was just like blowing kisses to everyone at the front. And I did one back at the same time, and she did like a little face like. I was like, oh, this is nice. Everyone's nice here. And so I went outside when it all finished, said goodbye to everyone, went outside and had like the biggest smile on my face. I hadn't been like, I hadn't smiled like that for years. And this is for everyone watching. I think my sister, who's a mental health advocate, she told me, tells everyone, if you're very happy in the moment, take a selfie. Now, I usually hate taking selfies, but I made sure before I left the venue, I quickly took a selfie in front of the stage. I still have it on my phone, just in case. If you're ever like in a dark place again, go back to that selfie so you can see yourself like, and aim to go back to that. That's who you are in that state. So, and then on the way back to the coast, I had to like get a midnight train and a freaking coach, a rail replacement bus in like 1 a.m. All I had with me was my rolled up Within Temptation poster, like a stick to defend myself, just in case. Sitting in the middle of nowhere, like 1:30. And I was on the bus back, and I was just thinking to myself, reflecting over what I just seen. I was like, try all these emotions just coming in, like in and out. I'm like, I thought that's what I want to do. That's what I want to be. Like, I don't want to be necessarily a singer or anything. I might end up being a musician, who knows? But I want to be someone who just makes people happy the way the band did for me. That's who I want to be. It doesn't matter what I do, just that's my goal. So then came along, I thought, I've got to see them again. I've got to do this again. This time I'll know the songs. And so roll over to July the year after 2019, I made loads of friends on the Within Temptation fan group. Some of the nicest people I know, still friends, they could be watching right now. Hello. And I never met up with them, but we all like booked a hotel together. Like, I don't know these people, but I'm booking. I don't care. We'll see what's happening. It's fine. And they were all really support, they were helping me like sort out my ticket problem, because being in the UK, for some reason, I couldn't get a ticket to Younger Garden in Dresden. And they were helping me like send this ticket across Europe to get to me in the UK. And so we met up in Dresden together, middle of Germany, gorgeous place. And the show there was probably the best concert I've ever been to. Like, it wasn't a show, it was like a party, because we spent the whole time just like laughing and like laughing along with the band. Like, it was just such an amazing atmosphere, tiny little venue. And I feel like that's our memory. Everyone who went there, there's not much footage, it's our thing now, it belongs to us. Like the band, they know how to like just keep people so cheerful. It's like they're very down to earth people. You guys probably said that already about them. And then we saw them at Mera Luna the next day, and that's when I went to the signing, the meet and greet. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna meet my hero. I'm gonna meet my hero. And I took a drawing with me. Let me just find it. And it got it signed by the Queen herself.
Oh, that is so cool. Wow. Wow.
That's an excellent drawing.
Amazing.
That is amazing.
See that?
Wow.
Very nice.
Yeah, see the bottom there.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I came out for the meet and greet, like just shaking, like, oh my god, I met my hero, this is amazing. So we did the show again, a Mera Luna epic show. Like, I think Dresden was better because it was more personal, but Mera Luna was just epic proportions of that. They know how to put on a good show. Like, I've seen some epic shows, but like you've seen the Resist tour, you guys, right? Like the screens and stuff, all the effects and everything. And then, so I went home. Everyone had to leave the next day, sadly. Post-concert blues hit very hard indeed. And then came along, Anike van Giersbergen. Do you guys know her? The one who sang Somewhere at the Black Symphony.
Oh, yes. Annika. Yeah, as a matter of fact, Joey and I saw Annika back 2 years ago in Tampa. Yes, I love Annika.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
I still have some of the videos from that show on my cell phone
Do
of
you?
of her acoustic act.
Yeah, she did an acoustic set for us in
Yeah.
Florida. It was
Yeah, the In-Between show.
phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah. So then on the Within Temptation page, they said Sharon's going to be doing a duet, guesting at Annika's show, singing Somewhere, which is one of my favorites. I'm like, I've got to see this. And I only knew like 2 of Annika's songs, but I was like, hey, new artist. I'm going to go discover new artists. Let's go. Very glad I did. I went to the Netherlands on my own for a weekend, just got a little coach across the UK again, just to see this show. I was like, it's worth it, worth every penny. And this is where it gets really funny, because I was outside the venue with loads of other people, and just around the corner was the car park, the artist entrance. And we were told, oh no, they've all gone in, blah, blah, blah. They'll probably arrive after you go in. So everyone was like, okay then. But then there's me who's like, I'm going to go check every 5 minutes just in case someone turns up. And then, so I'm on my own going around just seeing if like Annika or Sharon turn up, just say hi. And then Sharon turns up and I'm thinking, I'm on my own here. So yeah, and then this other guy from the crowd, he comes round and says, you didn't come back, so I assume something's happened. I was like, yep. So just me and him, I met her again. She's nice as anything. She had enough energy to deal with me after driving for ages, because I'm literally the most bonkers person on the planet. So kudos to that. And so obviously she went in afterwards. The show was fucking Annika, amazing artist. I'm so glad that Within Temptation like led me to this new artist. Like it's branching out now.
Yeah.
I'm seeing like my mind is open to these other new people. Yeah. Obviously they sung Somewhere, and I think I just cried about the whole thing. But like one of the best performances I've ever seen.
Wow. You know, Emily, when you talk about this, and I think everybody else will agree. Have you all seen like the old videos of like the Beatles with Beatlemania, with the girls just screaming and going wild and everything like that? Okay.
Yeah,
you remember
I've been
that?
a ghost crowd, and they're like that.
Yeah. Well, that was Beatlemania, and there was not much substance to that. But when I listen to you and what you're saying with your story concerning Within Temptation and how they've played a role in your life, something I want to highlight, and I'm sure that Alicia will agree with this, is that art inspires art. Good music opens up different areas of the mind and the heart to be able to want to give back the same thing that you've received. And I also understand that you've taken up bass lessons now too. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Right.
I forgot to say, after the first Within Temptation concert in 2018, the next day I was like, I want to write something. I want to draw. It's coming back to me. It was all just coming back. And then suddenly I just got this notepad and started scribbling down ideas. I was like, this is really good. Listening to Within Temptation at the same time, of course, for inspiration. Have Mother Earth and Full Blast when you do fantasy writing. You got to do it. But then, the bass came in last year during the first lockdown, because in March, the first lockdown was March in the UK. And sadly, we had a little tragedy here. My childhood dog, he died suddenly in March. And I was like, literally just devastated the whole day. Like I was like, oh my God, I'm going to get bad again. And I was watching the acoustic version of Supernova on my TV, which is my favorite version of it. I love the original, but I actually prefer that one. We've had to choose. You know, with Sharon and Rude, just that one. You've seen that one?
Oh, you still there?
Yeah.
Yep, I can hear you. Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that one? The acoustic Sharon and Rude singing Supernova.
Yes, I have. Yes.
Yeah, I was watching that, just crying, like, like trying to make myself feel better, because the song is about acceptance of death and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And actually, I tagged them both in it, and just said, like, thank you for doing this song. Just I was just feeling so blur at the time. And Sharon actually texted me back, DM'd me back privately. It was a tiny little message, but the fact she'd taken the time, she probably gets so many people like bombarding her with stuff. And yeah, I was like, it made me feel a lot better. I was like, thank you.
Wow. That is so sweet. And that's one of the things that I appreciate about Within Temptation, and you can tell it in their lyrics. And something that Yana was talking about earlier is that when she listened to the songs, it'd be like, hey, they know right where I'm at in life. And they were just kind of the ones that were kind of guiding her through the issues. And they're just so real and down to earth and have such a grasp on reality and the things that we deal with as human beings. And I think that's what makes their music so powerful. And I don't think you would get I could be wrong. You guys are going to have to correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think you're going to get the same level of inspiration from Justin Bieber. I don't. I just don't think that's going to happen.
Comedy.
Emily, thank you so much for what you shared tonight. We appreciate you with your courage and talking about
one more little thing.
Oh,
go for it. How long have I got left?
Go for it.
How long have I got left? Just
how much time? I think it's much as
go
for one more thing. We got a couple more that we need to talk about.
So,
sure.
I just forgot to say, like I've held on to. I'm going to hold on to it for as long as I live. It's the ticket from the first night.
Oh, that was well worth waiting for.
I put on the back a little note. I just said it saved my life.
Wow, that's great.
So I'm holding on to
this
forever. Frame it or something.
Yeah.
One ticket changed your life.
Yeah, one tiny little bit of paper.
Wow. That is amazing. Wow.
So yeah, bass now. After my dog went, I was like, need something creative to keep my mind off. And I got inspired by the man, Jeroen van Veen. He's my favorite out of the boys.
Yeah.
He's a brilliant guy. I think he started to like, I keep bombarding him with my bass covers. I think he's just liking them to shut me up. But I love it. I'm playing their songs. It's so much fun. I love learning them by staring at what his hands are doing, trying to count how many beats there are. So there will be more to come.
So neat. I want to encourage you to keep creating and keep making other people happy, because you know, when we live for others, really, that's really what makes life fun, is living and doing things for other people.
That's what we're here. This is our moment in history. We've been given this chance to live. Might as well make others happy as much as we can.
Yes, exactly. Because this world is dark. There is absolutely no question about that. Emily, thank you so much for joining us. We've got Joey, and Emily, I will send you a free gift via email as well in the next couple days. I've written some things about my personal journey with Within Temptation and like to share that with you as well. So I'll send that in the next couple days to you through email. Thank you.
Wow.
Yes, yeah. Hey, join the podcast and the live stream tonight, and you get free stuff. I mean, you know, what more can you ask for? Thank you so much, and have a good evening in the UK. Joey, that was amazing. You have another story from Italy. Can you? He's not able to join us this evening. Right. I believe it's from Antonio. Can you share that story with us?
I can. Let me get this.
Use those velvety pipes, Joey. We know you got them.
It was a dark and stormy night.
No.
Wait, no. I'm going to go get a charger. Poor
Oh, you're going to get a charger? Okay.
Right back.
Okay, go get your charger. All right.
Should I wait on that?
Yes, I will send you a free copy of the book that I wrote that has the story of my journey of Within Temptation as well.
Yes.
You can email me 2auto2 at lithoscry, LITHOSCRY @gmail.com, and I will get those out in the next few days to you through Amazon. It is a ebook that I wrote, and I'd like you to have a copy of it. 2auto2. Thank you for joining us tonight.
2auto2.
Yes.
Does 2auto2 got a name? What's your name, 2auto2?
You know, I didn't plan this. This is just the way that it worked out, but I did want to bring this up. And we're talking a lot about the heart tonight. And this is Raven's Heart Podcast, where we want to get to the heart of things. And in preparing, I just came across this. I did not realize this. This was not planned. But this week marks the 14th anniversary of the release of Within Temptation's album, The Heart of Everything.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't believe it because a lot of the songs on here are the ones that I was first introduced to in my journey with the band. Joey, do you have Antonio's email up so you can read it?
I do.
All right.
Okay, you want me to start?
Go for it.
Okay. My story with Within Temptation begins much later than most fans. I first heard of the band in 2014 and only knew a few songs by them at the time. Back then, I wasn't into the world of music and concerts as I am now. In 2018, I had everything in my life fall apart and went through a very deep and intense depression during most of that year. Just before things got really bad, I happened to notice that Within Temptation were playing in London, Brixton, and toward the end of that year. With nothing else to lose and wanting to try out something new, I'd never been to a rock concert in my life. I spent the last bit of money on a ticket. The next day it sold out. Getting through the months leading up to the incredibly difficult but simple Curiosity. Am I reading the right one?
You're reading Emily's email. Antonio's email. Yeah.
I'm like, wait, this sounds,
Man, your
this sounds
one
very
job,
similar.
Joey. Your one job.
I'm like, wait a minute.
I was like, wait a minute
Sounds
here.
like a very, very similar
Yes.
story.
Yes.
All right, well, I apologize for that. Oh my goodness. All right, well, let me find the right one. I do appreciate you gave me a lot of good information. It just not much emails in here. Oh.
Well, Joey, while you pull that up, let's go up to Michelle because just a few weeks ago, Michelle was over here at the Ravens Heart Studio and we were enjoying some coffee and some Christmas cookies. Boy, that
With Mac.
And Mac the Metal Dog. Yes. Hey, and I do have to bring that up. Mac the Metal Dog is our official mascot here at the Lithos Cry Ravens Heart Studio. And all Within Temptation songs are Mac the Metal Dog approved. Absolutely. I actually have pictures of him sitting and listening to the stereo with Within Temptation on. He will actually sit in front of the stereo and listen to the music. So, but Michelle, you were sharing about how their music has impacted your life. Can you share that with us, please?
Okay, I'll try to make it in a nutshell. I don't know what it is about the year 2018, something about that year, but my personal life was falling apart for a while. In 2018, I found myself pretty much locking myself in my room every afternoon and crying and looking for a place to move out to get out of a very bad relationship. And so I was in a bad place, and music was always important to me. And it happened to be in August of 2018 when I met Joey, and we were talking about music, and he talked about symphonic metal, and I'm like, oh, cool. And he said, do you know what that is? And I said, it makes me think of Apocalyptica. And he's like, oh. And so he told me all these names of these cool bands. So I looked them all up and started listening. And my two favorite were Within Temptation and Delain. And I just really got into Within Temptation. And like within a month of that, I had found a place to moved out. My boys and I moved out and got our own place. And like part of, that process, lots of music to process my emotions. And so many of the songs of Within Temptation helped me to really process my emotions. Like, Tell Me Why, Faster, What Have You Done, The Reckoning, Raise Your Banner, Holy Ground, In Vain, Endless War. Like all these were just helping me sing out my feelings. Not that I can sing like Sharon now, I'm pretty awful, but just the words, the big epic sound, just like I said, it was like a release. And so I'm still a big fan of theirs, and I love their new stuff now too, but I just can't stress enough how much music helps when you are in that dark place. And like you said, for that people to say they're singing what I'm feeling, like it's just, wow, did they write that song for me? That's exactly how I feel now. And that just, it's just been a really good.
You said something, Michelle, that I'd like to key in on for everybody that's watching. A lot of times we just look at, and I love their new song, Entertain You. We're not here to entertain you, because their music is more than just entertainment. And you hit the nail on the head, is it helps you process your emotions. And I think that's what everybody that's been with us this evening has been talking about, is that this music, this sound, the lyrics helps us process the emotions. And that's very important in dealing with and coping with life in this world, which is like no rules Australian stickball, going through everything in this world. Alicia, yeah, that's probably the best way that I can describe it. There is no smooth sailing in this life. Life is difficult. It's amazing that we can get out of bed in the morning. Even the person that looks the happiest when they get out of the house,
Right.
I can guarantee you that the happiest person has trouble and turmoil in their life, because that is just the nature of the world that we live in. Yeah. And Melody just sent us something. She gave a shout out, and I'm going to have to show this to Mac later. She says, "Oh, so cute," to our Boston Terrier, Mac the Metal Dog, who has listened to more Within Temptation. Yes, more Within Temptation than any dog in the world, guaranteed, guaranteed. So, Joey, did you get it together down there in the bottom right-hand square?
I think I got it together. I'm
All
sorry.
right, so let's hear Antonio's story.
If you take it out of my paycheck, I have a negative number. That means I'll have to pay you. All right.
No free stuff for you, Joey. No free stuff for you.
Okay. In the early days of October, during the lockdown situation, I was forced to stay home and became a bit depressed. Searching on YouTube, I listened by chance to Iron. It was love at first sight, and after a month of listening for 2 hours a day, every night, I deepened the knowledge of this amazing group and decided to materially accomplish something solid by drawing inspiration from Sharon, from her voice, from her presence, and from her real life story. It was and still a sad moment for the time, but simultaneously beautiful situation for the discovery of these guys who managed to give me back the life that before them had hidden behind 1,000 worries and many thoughts with the darkest and darkest of colors. I'm 68, and it's not a few, and they weigh especially in these moments. What to add? Still to this day, when I feel a little overloaded, I listen to Within Temptation. Just listen to in the middle of the night. I'll never stop thanking them. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you again.
Wow. That's a 68-year-old individual. Who found Within Temptation during the lockdown. That's one of the good things that's come out of COVID, is people are discovering all sorts of good music that's been out there for many years now. And we had, especially over here when we were doing this just in podcast format, we had such an uptick in listens on our podcast because there's nothing else to do. But it helps him cope. And what I like about this story is that it helps him cope with the weight of the world that's on his shoulders. Again, I just have to keep going back. Even though the sun shines every day, and even though it warms the earth, the world that we live in is dark and cold. I mean, that is just the reality of it. We live in a world that is messed up. It's a fallen world. And I am going to coin something tonight. Maybe this will eventually become a hashtag or something like that. But I was thinking about it and thinking about these stories a little bit earlier today. The music of Within Temptation, especially in my life, and I'm going to share my story very, very quickly. And I want to get some input from Alicia, who is very insightful into music. And I want to hear what she hears going on here with all of this. But for me, they have what I call the lithium effect. Okay, I don't think that term has been coined yet. You heard it here first, people, right here on Raven's Heart, the lithium effect. And lithium is a metal, okay? And it's extracted from the Earth's rock, okay? So we have metal being extracted from rock. Where did heavy metal come from? It came from rock and roll music. And lithium is used to treat depression, severe forms of depression, and bipolar. And for me, some people that are watching know this story. I found Within Temptation when I was recovering from a brain tumor, when I had lost my entire family through a divorce, and I had just left a religious cult all at once. So it all piled on very, very quickly. And I can take you to the exact spot in Charleston, South Carolina, where I was driving over a bridge to work, where I heard the first Within Temptation song. And it was on, of course, I know Emily's still watching right now with us. They don't play Within Temptation on the regular radio here in the United States because it's too good for United States radio. But I heard it on satellite radio, and I remember looking at the screen. I heard it was "What Have You Done?" And I looked at the screen on my satellite radio. I was like, "What is this? I've never heard this before." And the lyrics to "What Have You Done" resounded with me through what I was going through in my personal relationship at that time with what was going on with my family. And you better believe that as soon as I got into the office that morning, YouTube and Google was fired up, and I was like, what is this band that I've never heard of before? And it took me, The Howling and all those songs. And one of the things that I realized is what both Yana and Emily have discussed tonight, is that it felt like they were talking right to me and guiding me through what I was going through. And for those of you that know me and those of you that have been watching this live stream and this podcast, my faith is very important to me. But at that time, I had abandoned my faith to a very high degree. And it was through that music that I was hooked up to the EKG machine of my faith and why I am here now. And in that healing process, Within Temptation helped me heal. I'd listen to them at night. I'd listen to them every morning before I'd start work. I'd eat my bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich watching Within Temptation videos. It helped me process what was going on. It helped me heal. It gave me hope when I really wasn't looking in the right directions for hope in a lot of instances. But it gave me that hope to get me to where I am today. It helped me heal. And I believe that in the healing process, I'm completely healed of all of the side effects and after effects of the brain tumor. I was on a lot of medication in the recovery stages, and they thought that there would never be a full recovery, that there were some things that just wouldn't snap back in. But they did. And for me, when I hear their music, it just calms me down. And it brings me to that place where, I have to tell, and I'm going to be honest with everybody that's listening to this. When I listen to a lot of Within Temptation songs, I hear things that God would speak to me when I wasn't listening to him through his word very, very clearly. So that was very important to me. And they played a massive role in my recovery, and in the recovery just of my mind. Amelia she just put up, sent a message. I'm going to send her a message. She wrote, "I'm not religious myself and spiritual though, but I find it so beautiful the effect Jesus Christ has on people to improve their life." Absolutely. And I believe that Jesus, Emily, used Within Temptation to help me get where I am today. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, is I wanted to say thank you to that band for being selfless. It's not easy getting up on a stage and singing and pouring your heart out, especially in this world, because, man, the music industry today, with everybody, a lot of people being selfish, it's like, well, what has the band done for me lately? I don't like, the way that they played that song, or I don't like this song. It's like, let them be artists. Let them express. Just because it's not affecting you or impacting you in a particular way, let them be. Let them be who they are. Let them be real. Alicia, I want your insight on this because you're a vocal coach. And you know the dynamics of singing, and you've heard all of the stories tonight. And in a nutshell for us, this music, it's not Justin Bieber singing and entertaining and making money. It's not Beatlemania where everybody's just going crazy because they look gorgeous. You know, I'm sure Joey, you know, you're like, oh, Sharon. No. But, you know, come on,
You know
guys.
it.
Okay,
Now-
let's be real here. Let's be real.
Don't take away from the musicianship of the Beatles, though.
No, you can't. But
Okay.
all the hype that was around it, we would not have Within Temptation if we didn't have the Beatles.
That's right.
You know, I mean, there is a history here, and I'm not taking away from that at all. But you know, She Loves You, yeah, does not have the same impact as What Have You Done or Raise Your Banner. Okay, it just doesn't. Alicia, what is going on here? How can a band do this and affect so many people's lives in your analysis and your estimation?
Oh, wow. Like asking an answer to everything. I feel like I'm getting a lot of back, but that's okay. I'll just keep going. Anyways, Joey introduced me to the band, and he introduced me to symphonic revelation. It was very inviting for me, and as a vocalist, it was kind of like it exploded inside me because I was finally able to combine everything. It's almost like this music expresses the human spirit. I don't know how to explain it, and I think because she in particular is so honest and so just real with who she is. She touches on real subjects like I don't know, just broken relationships, broken hearts, happy. If you watch her videos, death, a lot of depression, different things like that. Somehow still alive around her, but through her voice, she is able to like pierce into the soul of people. And I feel the honesty of the lyrics just really speaks to people's hearts. It's very healing. You don't find a lot of honesty in the world these days.
I'd agree. It has to do with the honesty that she presents on stage that they put in their music.
Yes.
And I think it's summed up in the song that they just released a couple months ago. They just really, they're not there to entertain. They're there to share. They're there to express. And it goes to that reality. They're not in it to make the buck. That's really what it comes down to me as. And the other thing too, I think that we can add to that, Alicia, is from everybody that we've heard tonight, there's an empathetic spirit that everybody has that was on tonight. And I think that's why it resonates. Empaths, people who have empathy, it all resonates with each other. And I think that's why, you know, like when Emily went to Within Temptation show, she found kindred spirits because all these empaths, which is a good thing. We need more empathetic people. That's why the world is kind of in the mess that it is because empathy is the opposite of selfishness.
Yes.
And you get all of these people that are empathetic coming together and loving and caring for each other. And then you have somebody on the stage doing that. It's just causing that to multiply. When I first heard their music, again, as I said, I was like, what in the world is this? I've never heard this before. And it's what got me back into metal. And I would get disappointed because I'd go to the record store. I'd be like, oh, man, I want to find more bands like Within Temptation. And there are some like them. But there is nothing quite like them that can match what they do. I don't think there could ever be a successful Within Temptation cover band. I don't think there could be. Joey, I don't think we could pull that off, really, in the least bit. And
Joey asked, when I came into the band, he was the founder. When I came into the vocalist, I inherited some with Temptation. I started out as a band and started writing because this is a creative environment. He needs music is a creative thing. Anyways, I was like, I don't know her song because she's up there in the rafters and she's up there vocally. She has a very ethereal, almost angelic voice, and yet she can go to really neat side voice that has a lot of emotion to it. I just think that she's real. She's just a very person who's wearing her heart on her sleeve, and it shows.
Yeah.
And that draws people in, it hits her heart. When we share our story with other people, it allows them to have the right to share their story and courage to share their story. And I think that's kind of what she's doing. She's just sharing her stories, sharing her heart, sharing the view of the world. And in that, giving permission to others to share themselves, to share their story, good, bad. It doesn't have to be, brushed up or anything. It's real.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah, she's sharing her heart, and that is, and not only that, she's talented in sharing her heart. She's using a gift that was knit in her when she was born. She has those natural giftings, and everybody that was on tonight with us that shared that has gotten into art and want to do the same things that Sharon's doing, and they want to share their heart. They have those giftings on the inside as well. And I want to encourage them in continuing to cultivate those giftings to go the opposite grain of the way the world is today, to share what's in them and be real. And things would be a whole lot better if we stopped trying to fake it to make it. It really would be a whole different world. And really too, Alicia, one of the things that is so true is that when somebody gets up on a stage and they sing and they share, it's probably one of the most gothic things that somebody can do, because they are dying to themselves and dying to their fears to be that vulnerable on stage. And even the people that joined us this evening that shared with us, that took a lot of courage to come on a live stream to share the things and the struggles that they've been through that happened to them and how this band impacted them. And I wonder this, and we're going to wrap it up. And I want to thank everybody for joining us. If you've got any questions, any comments, shoot me an email at lithoscry, LITHOSCRY @gmail.com. But I wonder, when they write these songs, yes, and Melody says, and express passion. Yes, that is key. I totally agree with that. Expressing real passion, real vulnerable passion. That is how you can describe Within Temptation. And I wonder if they realize the impact, and I hope that they see this, the impact that they've had on people's lives in giving hope in the midst of a dark world. It's just mind-blowing how this band has been used to help people. And that's why we wanted to say thank you, instead of saying, hey, what have you done for us lately, and when's that new album coming out? We want it now. No, thank you for taking the time and putting together the albums. Thank you for being honest, passionate, and vulnerable on stage. Hey, and speaking of honest, passionate, and vulnerable on stage, I have to do this. Everybody stand by. We have to do a Get Revelation Rockfest 2021 update.
Get Revelation Rockfest 2021 update.
Yes, everybody, here in Charleston, South Carolina on May 15th, we are going to be having a live event. Yes, the capacity restrictions have been lifted in South Carolina for us to do this. We are going to be at the Hanahan Amphitheater. It's going to be an all-day music festival, and our headline band is going to be The Letter Black. We also have Zana, Warhol, Armor of God, The Last Trumpet, Warriors of Light. Oh my, what a lineup. Ziggy. We also have Winter's Resurrection, and a lot of this came about as a result of me going to a Delane concert back in 2019, or actually 2017, 2018 when I went. when I met Orlando from Armor of God, who opened up for Delane. And a great relationship was started there. So, hey, get your tickets now. Where can you get those tickets? You can get them on our website at lithoscry.com, or you can get them on Facebook at Lithoscry. So that's May 15th, Charleston, South Carolina. Hey, if you're down in Florida, if you're out in California and you want to fly in, come in and see the show. There's not much going on in the U.S. right now. This is one of the only things that is going on, and we're very excited about being able to do this. You're going to have to come see this show. Letter Black is totally awesome. One of the things that's really cool about the Letter Black is David Ellefson, the bass player for Megadeth, produced one of their albums for them, and they've toured with Skillet, and John Cooper and Skillet were one of their mentors on the road, and just awesome, down-to-earth people. And Michelle has been working hard behind the scenes with our crew and getting this event going, and we're very excited about it. So that's May 15th, 2021. 9 bands, 9 awesome hours plus of nonstop live music. Melody, who's watching, you're going to have to come up to Charleston, South Carolina with Joey for Get Revelation Rock Fest 2021. Tickets, again, Facebook at Lithoscry, or you can go to lithoscry.com, lithoscry.com, and get tickets there. Or if you want to, just in Google, type in the Letter Black Eventbrite Charleston, and it'll take you right there. And we hope to see you there. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Michelle, Alicia, Joey, thank you so much for joining us. And I'd like to thank all of our guests, Yana and Emily, for joining us this evening and sharing their Within Temptation stories. And to Sharon and Robert and all of the band, thank you for what you've done in these people's lives. It's precious. You are precious, and I have to say this, we love you for what you do, and we love you for who you are. Thank you for joining us, and we will be back next week, and we've got a new band interview with Defenders of the Cross from North Carolina. It's going to be awesome. Peace out and rock on, people.
Lithoscry.com